price of things, I know that this is a very difficult concept because it sounds like doublespeak. The price of things has not gone up. The value of your dollar has gone down. It would cost you 10 gold bars to buy a house in 1980. And a house today would cost you 10 gold bars. These communists have taken control. This idea that the rich aren't paying their fair share. I don't count other people's money. It doesn't bother me. Elon Musk has got billions of dollars. I don't care. It doesn't change my life in any way. These people, all they care about is EV vehicles, saving the world, carbon footprint. Here's a guy that's leading the charge. And all they try to do is break his balls, take his money.
Everyone's a victim!
Welcome back to Gerard versus Evil. You've asked for it. We're trying. Hey, look, we're going to build this thing up to where every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5, Gerard versus Evil in your ears. We are getting you through the end of the workday, discussing the bullshit we all got to go through in a fun, jovial way. We're going to bring back that love and feeling. Whoa, that love and your generation don't know that. Our generation knew that. Oh, you know that? My generation had Sweet 16s and the VFWs. None of this. When people were having Sweet 16s and stuff, and now they have them in like like they cost $100,000, like you're doing a quinceañera wedding. No, we were just, hey, look, there's a buffet of hamburgers over there. Go get yourself as much cake. Death by chocolate, my mom would make. Have you ever had death by chocolate? Well, looking at me, it makes sense. Death by chocolate is like chocolate pudding, chocolate cookies, Cool Whip, chocolate pudding, chocolate cookies, Cool Whip, chocolate pudding, chocolate cookie, maybe some gummy worms in there. Eat that whole thing. We're talking Aaron Rodgers today. The elites, the media elites are taking their pound of flesh. Oh, this is not about his vaccine stance. This is not about his political. They're taking these people are the pettiest, most ridiculously awful people on earth, and they have an opportunity now to take a pound of flesh from Aaron Rodgers, and they're jumping at Michael K. Michael K goes on the Rich Eisen show and is like, oh, this guy Aaron Rodgers, he can do whatever he wants. And he's acting like, first of all, Michael K, when he goes on other things, acts like a tough guy. All right, enough of that, Michael K. Enough. Okay, you're Michael K. Just let's calm down. Okay, you're the broadcast guy. You've never actually played a minute of any sport ever. When these guys act tough, it drives me out of my mind. When these media guys, look, you're a media guy, it's very hard to be in media. It's very hard to bullshit and lie and look yourself in the mirror and not drink yourself to death. I know. It's a very tough business that you've chosen, right? But you are talking about these men much greater than yourself who have actual accomplishments. Your only accomplishments is dissecting the accomplishments of men greater than yourself. But yet, you want to act tough around Aaron Rodgers? A Super Bowl winner, an MVP, a guy still playing at the top of the game in his 40s. I can't wait. I can't wait for Aaron Rodgers to be dropping MVP numbers on a 9-1 Jets team. And the way that he talked to Rich Eisen, he does this divisive politics, like everybody in the locker room doesn't already agree with him. You know better, Michael K. You're around athletes. You know every athlete. 99% of athletes agree with Aaron Rodgers. Over 90% of athletes, white, black, indifferent, unless you're talking about the NBA, that's different. Basically European soccer. But everybody else, you're talking hockey, you're talking NFL, you're talking Major League Baseball. These guys agree with Aaron Rodgers. They're center, they're right of center. They don't want taxes, they don't want control. What do you think? These are PC people? You think they want people like you telling them what they can and can't say? These are the alphas. They all agree with him. There's no divide in the locker room. And then Jets fans, you think Jets fans? It's controversial for Jets fans. Jets fans are blue-collar white guys from North Jersey and Long Island. 99.99999% of them agree with Aaron Rodgers' stance on everything. There's nothing divisive. Nothing about what he's doing. Nothing. So he skips out on, for people that don't know, he's skipping out on mandatory practice in the summer, okay? Mini camp. Now, this is a dude who's been in the NFL for 20 years. There's nothing he needs to do in June that's going to help him play in September. Nothing. Okay? OTAs and minicamp are for rookies trying to get acclimated to the NFL. They're like, what the heck's going on here? It's for new coaches and new teams that are putting in their plans, their practice plans. Some things that people that have never been athletes don't understand is the structure of the organization is hard to get used to. It's like going to a new school or a new job. Okay, when a new coach comes in or when players come into a new organization, whether they're free agents, whether they're rookies, whether they're young guys trying to make the team, practice squad guys, tryouts, right? You come in, every team has a different schedule. They have a different way of doing things. They have a different way of breaking the team up into smaller groups. They have different languages that they use as far as code words, as far as playbook is concerned. So there's a learning curve there. Aaron Rodgers has been doing this for 20 years. This is his second year in that organization. And it's his, 8th year with the offensive coordinator? He knows all the stuff. He knows it. What's he got to be there for? But you know what? I'm not going to sit here and defend a guy more than capable of defending himself. So a Gerard versus Evil exclusive. And I'm telling you, what's the evil here? The evil's the media, guys. However much you hate the media, I assure you, it is not enough. These people are terrible. These people are the worst. And don't you look at me and say, but Gerard, you're the media. I am not. I am just a lowly podcaster. I'm a failed athlete, failing comedian who talks shit upstairs in a cool little studio with a hot little Dominican piece by my side. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been a great time for you to cut to you. But all right, whatever. We've got a guest that has been waiting for us. He's been very gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, calling in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers to defend himself. Jossie, if you would put him through. Aaron, can you tell me a little bit? First of all, thank you for joining Gerard versus Evil. Aaron, can you tell me a little bit about what's going on?
But it's easy to talk about. It's easy to sum it up.
Okay.
When you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we in here talking about practice.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
In the summer, months before the game.
Not a game.
Mm-hmm. Months before
not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We talking about practice, man.
Yeah,
how
practice.
Silly is that, man? We're talking about practice. I know I'm supposed to be there. I know I'm supposed to lead by example. I know that. And I'm not shoving it aside, like it don't mean anything. Mm-hmm. I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice?
Yeah. Off-season practice.
We're talking about practice, man.
Yeah. No, I get it, Aaron.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah.
We're talking about practice.
It's unfair.
We ain't talking about the game.
No.
We're talking about practice,
because they can't say anything.
When you come in the arena and you see me play, you see me play, don't you?
Yeah,
you
MVP.
See me give everything I got, right? Mm-hmm. But we talking about practice right now.
Off-season practice.
We talking about practice. Man, look, I hear you. It's funny to me, too. And I mean, it's strange to me, too. But we talking about practice, man. We're not even talking about the game, the actual game.
The games are months away. Months away.
Practice.
Yeah. Off-season practice. Yeah, no, I get it, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you so much for calling in. That's Gerard versus Evil exclusive. Aaron Rodgers calling in from his vacation, explaining why he's missing practice. Well, you heard him. What are your thoughts on what Aaron had to say? Jossie?
I don't know. Do you think he was talking about practice?
Yes, I do. You look a little skeptical, Jossie. I feel like you don't think that was Aaron Rodgers. You don't think that was really Aaron Rodgers. It
was for sure Aaron Rodgers.
It was definitely Aaron Rodgers. Sure. And it was definitely not Allen Iverson. You don't know who Allen Iverson was or is, do you?
No clue. I've never heard that name.
Allen Iverson was a remarkably influential and somehow forgotten NBA great. The original AI, before AI was in the news, he was AI. His nickname was The Answer. AI. He was like the anti-hero for urban America. He actually, you can pinpoint him. He's the reason for the quote-unquote, what do you want to call it, the urban the thugification, the rapification of the NBA. Before that, before him, before the Fab Five, before, this kind of new generation of baggy pants and black socks and talking to the media the way you talk to anybody else, not being prim and proper in a suit, shaking hands and selling Reeboks. He changed everything. A lot of kids, everybody in the 80s and early 90s grew up wanting to be Michael Jordan. And then in the 90s, a lot of kids wanted to grow up to be Allen Iverson, do that shake and bake, do that cry. As soon as he crossed over Jordan, it was over, One of the greatest high school football players of all time, by the way, Allen Iverson. And then Kobe took over. So that was Allen Iverson, clearly, for people that don't remember. Talking about practice. Now, the interesting thing about that is we didn't know it then, but the media is so evil. They were talking about Allen Iverson, who was averaging like 30 points a game at that point. And he got drunk in Atlantic City, didn't make it back to Philly in time for a practice. These things happen. You've missed a day of work too. Now, you're not compensated at the level that these guys are compensated. I get it. And I totally understand, like, people that think living their dream is, if I was in the NFL, if I had the opportunity to live the NFL, I'd show up early, I'd stay late. Yeah, no, I've thought the same thing. I lived my whole life wanting to be a professional baseball player. I did everything I could possibly do, becoming one of the greatest amateur baseball players in the history of Jersey. And I say that with all humility, and it's true. And then I was about 50 games in to my first year in rookie ball where I was like, man, I wish I can go back to being an amateur. This shit sucks. When you have to do something, I don't care what it is, when it's your job, it gets old, all right? When there's things that you don't have control of, 17-hour bus rides, and fucking you don't get to make the lineup, and I get it. That's not what Aaron Rodgers is doing, all right? I get that. But it's still a job. There are porn stars. There are people that bang for a living, that wake up and go, oh, shit, Monday again. I got to bang these two co-eds again. Oh, God. 5 o'clock cannot come quick enough. My God, the chafing. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, people. When it's your job, it's your job. Take vacations. You take days off. You have good days. You have bad days. You don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. And these media guys, look what they tried to do to Allen Iverson. They do a Kafka trap. You can't win. They either skewer you, like you missed practice, and now you're apologizing, and they're like, oh, Allen Iverson is contrite after missing practice. Or then you are defiant like AI was, and it's like, dude, what are we talking about here? This is practice. So if I showed up and I said I got the flu and I sat in the trainer's room with a towel over my eyes, nursing my hangover, and then dropped 50 points the next night, everything would be okay? What are we doing here? Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sitting here like, guys, it's June 12th. It's June 12th. If I throw 3 interceptions the first week of September, let's have a conversation. But it's June 12th. What are we doing? Crazy. You guys are nuts. This is off season. As far as I'm concerned, the players union shouldn't even let them be doing this right now. It should be completely voluntary. Imagine if your job, this is no different than you're a teacher, by the way, and you work September to June, and then there's there's mandatory training in August. And it's like, yeah, okay, you're going to have to talk to the union about that. Imagine if there was a press conference for the teachers that were like, I got plans. I got a vacation. I really can't break it. And they're like, is this teacher even dedicated to their job? What will the other teachers think? This is when you build teamwork around the school. Nah, I'll see you in September because that's when the contract says I need to be there. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Joss?
I don't know. I think it once again comes back to that whole gimme, gimme, gimme. I'm asking for, all this special treatment type stuff. You
think so?
Yeah.
See, I think it's kind of the opposite. I think that these media people they hate Aaron Rodgers. They hate that he stood up to them. They hate that they were wrong and he was right. They're the smart ones. He's the dumb jock. Aziz Ansari did that whole stand-up special where he was pandering and begging for the leftist elites to let him back in the club. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he's talking about the vaccine. Why are we listening to the jock? Am I right? Can I come back in now, please? Please let me act again. I'll be brown and gay. Aziz Ansari. Because what? Because you're Indian, you know more about vaccines? How's that not more racist? Because you look like everybody behind the counter of a fucking pharmacy. You know more about that. You're an actor from South Carolina. You're a moron. You're a moron who got Me Too'd because you can't take no for an answer on the worst date ever. You got Me Too'd over going in for a kiss, you loser. And you're going after Aaron Rodgers, a dude who knows more about the human body than almost anybody. A guy who literally has made himself a billionaire off of his body. He went to Berkeley, by the way. Went to the University of California, Aziz. Talk about brown privilege. Oh, the Indian guy must know about, he looks like doctors, so this actor must know something about vaccines. Fucking loser. Dork. One of the worst specials of all time. Ugh. From the Comedy Cellar, another comic industry shoves down your throat. Aziz Ansari. You got at least 2 muted chuckles throughout that whole hour special. Good for him.
You sound just like him.
Hey guys, I'm not like Urkel. I'm a completely different character. I wear a skinny tie. Dork. Goes after Aaron Rodgers. Why are we listening to the football players? Plato was a wrestler, you asshole. Do you know that, Jossie? Did you know Plato was a wrestler?
Like ancient times Plato?
Yeah, like ancient times Plato, one of the original Stoics, one of the actual thought leaders for 10,000 years. He was an Olympic wrestler. Plato's a nickname that means wide or broad. It's like Brock Lesnar. We're listening to the philosophical rantings of Brock Lesnar every time somebody quotes Plato, you know? But he's not skinny and brown, so why are we listening to this? Am I right, you guys? Please, Hollywood, let me back in. Please. Nah, dude. The Jets players need to rally around their boy. The Jets players need to be like, shut up. Who cares? It's June. We got one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Let's talk in September. We're just grateful he's here. We're grateful he came to New York. We don't even have our own stadium. We practice in freaking Long Island and then drive out to Jersey for the games. Please, Aaron, whatever you want. Please, thank you. Thank you so much for coming here. We have been the little brothers to the Giants for 30 years. Please, just whatever you want. Please, just show up on game day. Please, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Media. What does this mean to his teammates? Unbelievable. You better call Aaron. Call him and tell him to come whenever he wants to. You need to call Aaron. Call him.
Not the moves.
But you can't use my phone. Little Erykah Badu. AI and Erykah Badu. This is like a Phillies 90s episode. Let's get some freeway in it. It's freeway in the place to be seeking. It's a Wednesday. I can't be getting this turned up. It's a Wednesday.
It feels like the weekend.
Oh, it feels like the weekend. Every day needs to feel like the weekend because the Russians got bombs 66 miles from where I am right now. You think it's been raining for 48 straight hours down here in Florida. Like you ever see that movie Rockadoodle where it won't stop raining until the Elvis chicken got to go sing?
That doesn't sound like a real
it's a real thing. It's a real movie.
That doesn't sound like
it's called Rockadoodle, and you should check it out. It's fantastic. Also, any comments, please, and thank you guys. I love y'all. Keep the comments coming. We'll make sure that we say them on air for you. Merrick Garland, held in contempt of Congress. What does it mean? Well, nothing, because Republicans are cowards. But at least they get it on the record that this guy has been obstructing justice, which he has. Can you imagine? We dodged a bullet. Can you imagine if Merrick Garland had actually been a Supreme Court justice? If he did not get filibustered out in the waning hours of the Obama presidency, this guy would be in a position for life. My God. Merrick Garland. Guy's a legit Bolshevik, man. The problem with the modern Democrats is that they are all about the means justifies the ends. Big problem. The means justify the ends is a huge problem, because then you can you can justify anything that you do as long as you can make the smallest claim that it works towards your noble outcome. China does this all the time. Oh, we have to displace 1 million people because, well, we need a hydroelectric dam right where they are. So you have 1 week to move. You have a new job assigned to you, a new apartment assigned to you. And if you don't go, well, the dam's going up, whether you're there or not. So, and then the dam, they'll build it, and then the dam won't turn on for 5 years, or it'll crack. The ends justify the means. The ends justify the means to everybody that ever says the ends justify the means. The ends justify the means. The ends justify the means. Turn around immediately and tell them the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Cliche for a cliche, trope for a trope. The ends justify the means. Yeah, well, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. We're going to get rid of every gas vehicle because we need to stop carbon. Uh-huh. And how do you feed 330 million people without trucks? There's no electric truck that can go cross country. So, I mean, what? We just, the northern part of the country just doesn't eat limes anymore? That's deal with it. You better live within 200 miles of a cattle farm. So a place like New York City, a place like Manhattan that has 12 million, 13 million people, that's going to be a lot of cattle farms outside that city. But we can't have cattle, though, because they raise the methane, which raises the CO2. Oh. So we can't have cattle, and we can't have gas. We're back to bug paste. We're back to protein paste, animal protein. Anytime you see something, Josh, that says animal protein, that's bugs, baby. That's bugs. That's made with bugs. Now, I know your people originated from the jungle. It's not such a big deal for you.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, yeah, it's the ants, you know, the
go ahead, put
cockroaches.
yourself on camera when you're talking.
That's the good stuff.
What is? The bugs?
The original bug protein.
Oh, no.
That's the really good stuff.
Oh, no.
Delicious.
Oh, no. You eat bugs, huh? You do that?
You know, what is the saying? The rough times or hard times ask for desperate measures. I don't know how you say it.
Desperate times call for desperate measures?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's life. Yay.
You grew up in South Florida, dude. Like, what?
The iguana soup. That's where it's at.
The
iguana soup.
That's so funny. You know, this just goes to show how attractive Latinas really are, because there's no different from iguana soup than squirrel soup. But we look at them rednecks out in West Virginia like, God damn, what are you doing? It's just a furry little rat. An iguana is just an armored rat. An iguana is just like a Pokemon rat that leveled up and has like body armor now. Heard it tastes like chicken though.
Oh, it's really good. The iguanas are like the equivalent, I would say, of New York rats. You know, kind of like same playing field.
Dude, I've seen some big iguanas out here.
Oh yeah.
I've seen some iguanas. I've seen some.
They're pets at this point.
Iguamísimos.
Oh my god. Iguajones.
Iguajone. Jefe iguana. Yeah, man. They're already talking Hunter Biden. What are your thoughts on the Hunter Biden thing? Do you care about anything in the news anymore? I'm always fascinated by as the country is ripping apart at the seams, right? You read the news, you hear the news, we talk about it here, and then you walk outside and nothing's different. Things are more expensive. That sucks. Feels like there's a tension, but like any of the racial strife, you just don't feel it. It's just not there. Everybody gets along with each other. People have discussions with one another. You know, there's such a difference between the collapse and the pending doom that we constantly hear about, and then the way that we live our lives. Now, I understand that culture is downstream from politics. So anything that happens, when the collapse happens in DC, it won't hit us until 6 months later. Our infrastructure and our logistics they're on cruise control months in advance. So anything really bad that happens there, we don't get it till months later. The market crash, that might be coming could affect things very quickly, because then people lose their jobs, people lose their houses, like that shit happens quick. That's 2008. But a lot of the other things, inflation, joblessness, these things happen slowly. So we hear about it now. Part of the reason to know about the news is to then react to it before it trickles down to the rest of society and the culture. So, you hear about these banks on the verge of collapse. You can A, get your money out, and B, maybe make a couple bucks by shorting them. Although that used to be the logic, but now we just know the government will prop them up with future tax revenue. So, but if the government has to prop them up, they got to print money. So, there's moves to be made there. There's crypto moves to be made. There's gold to buy. There's ways that you have to make sure that your dollar maintains its value, right? Because the price of things, I know that this is a very difficult concept because it sounds like doublespeak. The price of things has not gone up. The value of your dollar has gone down. It's a very small difference. And in practicality, prices are up. But in reality, it's the value of the dollar that you have that's worth less. Where $1 could have bought, a belt buckle, 2 years ago, now it costs $2. Is that belt buckle worth twice as much? No, it's not. It's the same asset. So your money is worth half as much. They've diluted the value of your dollar. Does that concept make sense to you, Joss?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So like it would cost you 10 gold bars to buy a house in 1980. And a house today would cost you 10 gold bars. But $1 in 1980, $100, these are not real numbers. I'm just throwing these out for easy to understand metaphor here. Analogy? I don't know what this is. An anecdote? Example? Let's go with that. But let's say gold cost $100 in 1980. So 10 times 100 is 10,000, right? So a house is $10,000. Now gold costs $1,000 in 2020, right? So 10 times 1,000 now becomes, what is it? Well, 10 times 1,000 is, so what I messed it up before. It was $1,000, now it's 10,000, whatever. Math is hard. The point I'm trying to make is that the tangible asset of gold has stayed stagnant against the price of goods. But your dollar has diluted. Since 1913, since the Federal Reserve, your dollar has gone down to almost nothing. And they scream at you. You're seeing it with the congestion people in New York, and they're all communists. They are always communists. Guys, I know that this is like McCarthyism, Red Scare. You're not allowed to say this, but it all comes down to these communists have taken control. They've gotten into these places of government while the rest of us have left government. Government's boring. Government's divisive. We don't want to do that. We want to become, we want to become accountants or investment bankers or teachers or doctors. These people want to get into government. They get into it. They take control. They go through the bureaucracy. And now we're run by these nerds, these geeks, because they have invested in the system. They've used the system the way that the system's meant to be used. And they've also gamed the system with these activist donors like Soros and Bill Gates, who have paid a lot of money for very extremist people to win elections. And now we're saying we're reaping the outcome of that. Where normal people who just want to be left alone can't be. And this has tested the very, I really don't even think I can call myself a libertarian anymore. Because I'm not. I have libertarian leanings, especially economically and socially. But the non-aggression principle is just too many people use it as an excuse for pacifism. And there's more aggression than just physical aggression, like this idea that another person's rights end at the tip of my nose. So they can do everything to you until they hit the nose. That's when they've messed up. No, absolutely not. No, you f up the second you took one step towards me. That's aggression. You f up when you told somebody a lie about me that cost me something. That's aggression. So the idea that, like, you know, you have to constantly be counterpunching, I just do not agree with. And it's been the last 20 years of living with these folks that have proven that to me, that kind of non-aggression principle, with all due respect to Dave Smith and Ron Paul and all those guys, it's as fantastical and utopian as communism is, as collectivism is. Oh, if we all just get together and we all just share our goods, this world will be a better place. Yeah, okay. Everybody agrees with communism until they have to clean up after a party. Why am I cleaning up your throw up? Oh, I just can't. Yeah, no, you clean up. No, but I can't. Well, I'm not doing it. Well, I'm not going to do it. Well, then we just have to live with vomit on the floor. That's communism. Communism falls apart. 3 freaking volumes of the Communist Manifesto. Das Kapital, this arrogant, narcissistic, it's written to justify the toxic traits of already bad people, of people that have tendencies to narcissism, to jealousy, to sloth. They read the Communist Manifesto and we're like, yo, this motherfucker's cooking. Ooh, I don't got to do shit, and they're going to feed me? Housing is a human right? Healthcare is a human right? Yeah, that sounds great, until you realize it takes other people's labor to do that. Imagine walking into a doctor's office and being like, hey, work on me now. I'm doing stuff. Nah, healthcare is a human right. Bro, it's not how this works. I'm not your slave. Anytime you need somebody else's labor, you have to provide value in exchange for that labor. Now, that is not in defense of our current healthcare system, which is f***ed. But there's nothing in this world that's for free, and nor should there be. The bill comes due no matter who you are and what you do. You have to provide value to the world around you to then extract value. This idea that the rich aren't paying their fair share. I don't count other people's money. It doesn't bother me that Elon Musk has got billions of dollars. I don't care. It doesn't change my life in any way. I do believe billions of dollars in Elon Musk's pocket benefits me and society more than if a government bureaucrat had access to that money. Explain to me what AOC and Rashida Tlaib would do better with $1 billion than Elon Musk. Elon Musk is creating, he's putting rocket ships that go into outer space and then come back in the same place where they left. These people, all they care about is EV vehicles, saving the world, carbon footprint. Here's a guy that's leading the charge, and all they try to do is break his balls, take his money, because he had the audacity to say free speech is a good thing and put his money where his mouth is. Elon Musk did more with $40 billion when he bought Twitter. He did more for humanity when he bought Twitter and freed the human mind and mouth than $100 billion that the government could have done. What would our government do with Elon Musk money? There's only one answer. They'd send it abroad. Elon Musk's money can either create value here for us via his products that we have access to, or it can go to buy more bombs, to be sent to places we'll never go, to kill people we will never meet. We got to understand that. We got to understand it all comes back to one thing, and it's communism. Collectivism. The UN, right? Putting all these things together for the betterment of humanity. What have these people done to make any of our lives better? We're like, yeah, give them more money. They're great. They act, well, without taxes, we wouldn't have roads. The federal income tax was 1913. America was founded in 1776, really 1780 something. Fenway Park was built before the Federal Reserve. We had roads, we had fire departments, we had police officers, we had healthcare, we had standing armies without a federal income tax. Must have been magic. It's not that these people are just absolute gluttonous pig liars who are corrupt to their soul, who have zero accountability. If you have a budget as a business and you blow your budget, you provide no value, and you run out of money, as a business, the market corrects. You go out of business, unless you're a bank. Then the government bails you out. But if you're government and you mismanage funds and you run out of money and you blow through your budget, you raise taxes. So we have to give you more? You get rewarded for mismanaging what you already had? Cool system we got here. It wasn't always like this. They say that the greatest trick the devil ever played. I can barely talk. Jeez, you got me all drunk over here. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing us he didn't exist. No, it's the second greatest trick. The greatest trick the devil ever played is making us believe we need government in our lives. We don't need these people, man. What do we need the federal government for? What do we need a federal Department of Education for? Can anybody tell me? We have a federal Department of Education. We have state Department of Education. We have county school boards. We have local school boards. Then we have superintendents. We have assistant superintendents. We have principals in every school. We have assistant principals in every school. We have guidance counselors. My God almighty. What do we need all that for? $100,000 job, your $100,000 job, your $100,000, $100,000, $100,000. They all vote Democrat. Oh. So Democrats take everybody's money, use it to put themselves in charge, then give the money back to people who are then going to vote Democrat. I'm starting to see a connection here, Josh. What a scam. What a scam. What a scam. And you get these people clamoring. If we didn't have taxes, we wouldn't have roads. Yeah. I live in Florida now. No state income tax. I haven't hit a pothole yet. You can't drive 3 blocks in Jersey without blowing your car out. Like craters, Josh. Craters. There's tolls every freaking half mile now in Jersey, and they're like $2 a toll. You drive the entire seaboard. I've been driving this country for a decade. You drive from Florida 14 hours up 95. It costs you nada. Until you find out you get to liberal America. D.C., Maryland, Jersey. Da-ding, 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 da-ding. Even D.C. and Maryland, it's like, all right, $2 to get through the 2 states. Delaware, Joe Biden's Delaware is the fucking worst. They charge you fucking money on the way in. You're in Delaware for 15 minutes. They charge you money on the way out. It's like, nope, thanks for playing. You. And then you get to Jersey. And here I have been driving the entire East Coast from Florida up to Jersey. And it's cost me, I don't know, $10, let's say. I don't know, $7. From Jersey, from when I cross the Ben Franklin Bridge in Camden and go across the state, directly across the state. From Philadelphia, Old Bridge, where I grew up, is basically directly across the state. It's about a 45-minute drive, the way I drive. About $14 in tolls. $14. If I drive to Manhattan, it's $20 just to go through the tunnel. For me to drive to Manhattan, I grew up like no traffic, 25 minutes outside in Manhattan, go through the Holland Tunnel. It's about $45 round trip. Imagine if every time you drove from here to Miami, it was $45. Crazy. It's nuts.
I like Miami, but not that much.
Yeah.
If it got to that point, it's like, no, too broke.
Now I'm in now where am I?
Yeah. We have a comment here, by the way.
Just yell them out.
From Brett Patterson. He said, you talk about the Dems getting arrested for ballot stuffing.
Oh, yeah. How about that? That's a great point. There was people in Georgia actually finally were. So this has been, ballot harvesting has been something that's been going on forever. I'm talking about when I was back in Jersey, we knew, and this is 2007, 2008, 2010, 11, 12. We knew they were ballot harvesting then. Do you know what ballot harvesting is?
No clue.
Ballot harvesting is when you have operatives who are acting like they're doing like community service, community outreach. So they go to like underserved and marginalized and underprivileged communities or elderly homes, and they'll knock on the door with ballots for people. And then they'll have the people, and then they'll help them. Hey, here's who's running. And it's always been garbage, right? It was always like too easy even then for these old people to think, well, I voted. And then these people would look through the ballots and be like, well, these 6 can go, these 20 stay, right? Or they would put the election booths in the lobbies of the projects in like Newark and Elizabeth. And it was like, oh my God, this is such a joke. You know, in the suburbs, people got to take off a day of work and stand in line for an hour to go vote at a church or at an elementary school. But, you know, in the inner city, these people just, you know, put it right next to the elevator in the high rises, you know, and then they're going door to door, knocking on doors, telling people. Some people thought they'd get paid, some people didn't. Now what's gone crazy was the mail-in ballots is what's nuts. There was tens of thousands of mail-in ballots that, you know, were just allegedly, we have to say allegedly, completely fraudulent. The same person just filling out 1,000 ballots a day, thousands and thousands and thousands, just completely fraudulent. You know, and I think that's one of the main headaches that we're going to have in November. One of the main ways that they'll be able to maybe get rid of Trump finally, in their mind, is we could see a scenario where they're going to cheat again. But this time, the Trump and the MAGA people are going to cheat also. So we could see a scenario where, like, there's 130 million people, or I don't know, 150 million registered voters, but Trump gets 100 million votes and Biden gets like 104, and you're like, wait a minute, we got 300 million votes, but there's only like 200 million registered voters here. That's a very real scenario for November, to decertify the election. If I were the Democrats, they've come this far. They're in so deep. This is the problem with the ends justify the means. They're in so deep. There's just, why stop now? Why stop now? What's the difference between 20 years in prison and 40 years in prison when you're 60 years old? Why stop now? Like, got to go all the way in. So that could be a plan for them to decertify this thing and say, man, Trump's going to win in a landslide, especially since Biden just seemingly won't step aside. I can't believe the Democrats are still running this guy out there. I can't believe it. You know, there's some people saying that in August he's going to step aside for health reasons and then Michelle Obama's going to step in. That's not a lot of time. You know. That would be a hell of a move. So that gives her August, September, and October. So they think in 90 days she's going to be able to turn around? Maybe. They'd do a huge media blitz. It would be so annoying. It'd be unreal. It would be so annoying. She'd be everywhere at all times. It would just be a suck fest. Michelle Obama, black female, she's going to save our country. How much Drew Barrymore can someone take? My God. Oh, Michelle Obama.
That's where you'll just see me gone.
Gone?
Just gone. No more.
So if Biden goes all the way through, then they're going to lie. They might as well make this thing seem as fraudulent as possible. You know, like stuff it all the way and say this election is nonsense. We can't certify this. You know.
So the whole ballot stuffing, that's like Jehovah's Witnesses, but like for ballots?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah, like Scientologists or Mormons, but for Democrats. They're all cults. It's the same thing. Yeah. MAGA's a cult too, don't get it twisted, but at least MAGA's more like an anti-cult. You know, like there's gangs, But like the Crips, I forget the exact way it started, but like the Crips started as like a response to the Bloods, you know? So like in some ways the Crips are a little more noble, or maybe I have it backwards, I forget. But like the Bloods, from my understanding, were like running roughshod over LA. They were just beasting people, you know? So the Crips started as like a response, you know? And MAG is kind of that. It's like a response to the far left. But they're both just, any extremes are just horrible because the problem is like, I can foresee a very near future, and I'm talking like 10 years, where the far right beats the far left. And we're like, thank God. And you guys are going to be chill, right? You guys are going to, you're not chill at all. Oh my God. You know, like it's like they'll take it to another level. But the good thing is, here's the thing about conservatism versus progressivism. Progressives only have to win once to win. Conservatives have to win every single time to win. This is why conservatives never really win over time. The idea of conservatism is to conserve things as they are. We're not changing. Things are fine as they are. We're not changing, right? The old cliched analogy is that, you know, our two-party system in America, Democrats are supposed to serve as the gas, and the Republicans are supposed to serve as the brakes, right? All brake, we don't go anywhere. All gas, we go off the cliff and die, right? So gas, brake, that's the kind of way it's supposed to go. It's not really work like that. They're both kind of gas now, right? But they're gas with tires going in like two different directions. So we're going like as fast as we can, but the tires are like coming off the car. And the idea that progressivism just wants to change everything. So as a conservative, you have to beat them every single time. Well, we want to lower the voting age to 16. No. We want to vote. Well, okay. So I'll make a deal with you. We won't lower the voting age to 16, but we have to send another $100 billion to Ukraine. Okay, fine. Good deal. Why is that a good deal? They got what they wanted. They wanted all of that. So every time you concede, that's what this speaker, Mike Johnson, is the worst. He's like, well, you know, we got some wins on the border. No, you didn't. You just lost. You lost less than you would have lost if you just gave them everything. It's the same mentality. The Republicans have the same mentality of like women who are addicted to shopping, where they're like, listen, I know it seems like I spent a lot of money, but it was 50% off. What do you mean?
Well, it's different when it comes to girl math.
What do you mean?
It's girl math.
You just spent $3,000 at Macy's. No, but the stuff was on sale. So it's really like, it would have been $6,000. So it's really like I made $3,000. No, it's like you spent $3,000.
And if you paid cash, then technically it's free.
Yeah, so you get it. This is the modern Republican right there. It's like, well, you know, they wanted to, you know, they wanted open borders and they wanted free health care from the time that they're born to the time that they die, free gender reassignments as many times as they want, free nipple tattoos, whatever, you know? And then when we said, no, that's crazy. You can only have two. Like, what?
Let's keep the nipple piercings.
Yeah, well, now we're dead. You know, they lose on abortion every single time. Democrats have just beat them to death on abortion. You know, like for me, I'm like, you know, do it. Go ahead. I don't care. I'm pro-choice. I don't have to like you. See, that's the part of it. Like, I don't have to like there's girls that like, they'll tell me, they're like, you're not going to like this, but I've got an abortion. And you're like, you're right. I don't like that. But, you know, good for you. It was your decision. Then they'll get mad at you. They're like, you don't want to date them after that. And I was like, yeah, nah, dude. I feel like this uterus was pre-owned. Like, I'm good on, you know, I'm more of a buy it out the factory kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, don't get me wrong. I'll take it for a couple test drives, you know, see how this thing handles. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to give you any buy signals here. And call me an asshole for that, because I am. But it's still my God-given right in America to be an asshole. I think it's your God-given right to do whatever you want. And that includes the slaughter of the innocent child within your body.
That was so aggressive. That was so extreme.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Womp womp.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't think the vacuuming out the baby was extreme? No, okay. No, it's the words. It's the words that are really the violence here. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I believe in your right to unalive that non-sentient clump of cells within your body that shares your entire family's DNA. Is that better? But I don't have to be nice to you about it. I don't need to invite you to my barbecues. And you don't have to like that I don't like it. We are allowed to not like each other, folks. We're allowed to be assholes to each other. Still, we're allowed. We're allowed to do anything we want except say one word that ends in an R in America.
Am I allowed to say it?
I think put yourself on. I think you can. I think you can. I think. No. I think, but you won't. I think you can.
Well, I don't know. For me, I'm Latina. So like I never really even used the word.
So what do you think of Latinx? What do you think of when they start doing that Latinx stuff?
I think it's different because I grew up in Broward. So you have like different groups of people who were just raised different ways. So like they have different ways of speaking. But say like I was born in Hialeah. So it's like guy is like a thing that you say a lot, or like dude. So that's what I'm used to, you know? Or that's what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, you can't give these people an inch. You can't give these people an inch. If the last 5 years have taught us anything, you can't give these people an inch. You can't be like, they'll be chill. They will not be chill. They will hold it against you forever. They will talk shit behind your back to be like, you'll never believe what he believes. He believes Black Lives Matter was a communist action front. He does. He really does believe that. He really does. Do you hate black people? No, I don't. Look at the Black Lives Matter marches. It was all middle-aged white women at the end. It was like a Backstreet Boys reunion tour. Screaming at people. Intimidating strangers. Who the fuck wants to be a part of that? Now they're out there painting their flag on every roadway in America and then not letting people walk on it. You can't walk on this. It's like, dude. Somebody help these people. This is the biggest cry for help I've ever been a part of in my life.
Quick shout out to Brett Patterson. He said thanks for the good content, and he sent you a little gift.
My man Brett.
Yeah. Shout out to Brett.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man. Yeah, dude. So it's these people all the time, right? They just don't, they just. It's like they don't let themselves have a good time. I can see it when they come to the comedy shows and they're like, I'm not going to agree with what this guy has to say. And then they're like, it's painful for them to try not to laugh for the next like 20 minutes before I finally break them or make them leave. I'll either break them. You've seen me perform. You're coming along or you're leaving. I'm not going to let you sit there and drain the energy from my room. Nope. You are not the main character today, bitch. It's me. It's my show. I understand the narcissism because I feel it. I know it. I sees it in you because I knows it from me. Nah, these next 60 minutes are mine, motherfucker. And you can laugh or you can shut the up or leave. But you can't just sit there draining energy. No. Ain't gonna happen.
It's like, with that though, why go in the first place?
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I think there's a part of them that kind of wants to feel like they're better, Kind of like, oh, I'm going to tell you you're not funny. And like they think they're doing something with it, but like they're not.
Yeah, I think some of it too is like their friends are barely hanging on by a thread with them. And I think they can sense it. Like their friends are like, oh God, every time we bring you out. And now that the tide's kind of turning where like they can't bully people into silence, like 2-3 years ago, they used to be able to like get in a guy's face or like say something and the guy would be like, oh, look, I'm sorry. I didn't want to talk about it. And then they'd come back like, yeah, that's right. Now, we were at Packy's, me and Nadeem. And this girl from Brooklyn was in there just talking real loud. And then I was like, oh, yeah. And she was talking to Nadeem about Palestine and how bad everything is and everything like that. And I've never seen anybody just want to like bang somebody because they thought they were victimized before. I'm like, he grew up in fucking Boynton. Like, I'm like, yo, Nadim, you need to start talking in like Farsi right now or something, bro. You got this chick in the bag. And then she's like, you don't believe in this, do you? And I was like, no, it's not that I don't believe in it. I just don't give a shit. I don't think a single American dollar should be spent anywhere but here. She's like, oh, you're one of those Republicans. I was like, oh no, way worse. way worse. I'm like a anti-government, anti-statist. I'm teetering on anarchy. I would prefer it if I were a warlord, frankly. She's like, oh, you're probably a science denier. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe. I'd like to be. What science can I deny? She's like, you don't believe in climate change. I'm like, that's a hell of a statement, that I don't believe in climate change. Like, I don't believe the climate has ever changed. I feel like we've had ice ages. We haven't had ice ages. Like, she's like, see, this is what you do. You play semantics. You're going to kill the earth. And I'm like, I'm at Packies having a Yingling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you're changing the earth here, babe. You know, I don't, but she was like, it was her personality, her whole personality, you know, and her friends came over and like, she's like, I've had enough of this conversation. I'm leaving. I was like, I didn't ask you to talk. You were free to do that at any time. And like, this was an option the whole time for you. And their friends came over and like apologized to me. They were like, we're so sorry. You know, she lives in Brooklyn now. And I'm like, yeah, no, I've met this before. Like, you know, like she kept trying to like, you know, get me riled up, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get riled. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm gonna get into an argument with you over things that I know more than about you. Like, this is your religion. It's her religion. This has nothing to do with politics. This is her religion. This is her personality. And why I bring this up is because it was very obvious to me that her friends were over there like, oh God, we can't bring this bitch out no more. So why do I think these girls go to the comedy clubs? Because I think they're almost like trying to show to their friends, like, see, you know, I can be cool. I have a great sense of humor. I can laugh, until they hear one thing they don't like. And then it's, that's when they get my ire. It's not that they're not having a good time. I'm not for everybody. I'm a pretty shitty comedian. I'm not for everybody. But if you're sitting here going, like, okay, they hear you. So you're not content enough to ruin your own time. You are just so mad everybody else is having a good time that you want to try to ruin theirs too. Get up and get out. You're a horrible human. You have no sense of humor. Get up and get out. You need something so drastically to change in your life before you end up like Chelsea Handler. You know, just spend the next 30 years of your life turning your pussy into a petri dish and then wondering why men don't want to marry you. And then taking that like men don't want to marry me thing and then trying to rebrand it and take the power back and be like, I don't need no man. You don't need no man, or no man, like, you know, like they'll rent, but they don't want to buy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they'll vacation, but they're not moving there. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. We were talking about this the other day with a dude, you know, and this is not fair. This is completely unfair, but it's the truth. And this is unfair for women. It 100% is. And I'm saying that from the beginning. It's unfair, but I don't make the rules. All I can tell you is from a man's perspective, this is how it goes, okay? There's girls that, you know, let's say they start getting sexually active at 15 years old, and their moms maybe got married young, and at young now is probably like 25 or 26, had kids 26, 27, 28, and they tell these girls, like, don't get married young, don't have kids young, you know, get out, explore the world, which explore the world for some reason translates into nothing but drink and fuck, drink and fuck, drink and fuck, drink and fuck. So then they'll leave their high school boyfriend. You know, maybe they'll have a college fling, college guy. Then they'll get out of college, and either that guy is serious with them, and then they'll get that existential crisis, like, oh my God, I haven't seen the world, I can't marry this guy. And they'll leave that guy and maybe get serious with another guy, and then have that same existential crisis. And the cycle repeats itself until they feel like, okay, I've seen enough of the world, I've taken enough dick, now I'm ready to settle down. And maybe they'll be 27, 28, maybe 30, 31, 32. It's getting later and later. And now they run into a situation where, at 27, 28, 31, 32 with decades and continents worth of dick inside of them, the high value man that they are still, because they're beautiful and they're funny and all these other things, are able to attract, start saying, I really like you, but I'd like you better if you were 24, 25 with about 8 vacations less of dick inside you. And how dare, what? This misogynistic man, these patriarchal, look, this is just the way it is, guys. And I'm not saying it's right, because that guy's probably been doing his dirt the whole time too. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it is. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. Listen, play your cards right. Have your fun, do your dirt. But you get into them mid-20s, man, if you get a good one, make a go of it. Make a go of it. Don't constantly be looking at men or women and men thinking about this. Don't constantly be looking at your boy or your girl as your new floor. As like, okay, this is my basement now. Let's see if I can do better. And if I can't do better, all right, fine, I'll settle for them. And let me see. No. Go all in. If they treat you well, go all in. Here's the litmus test. If you've been with somebody for more than 6 months, let alone a year, God forbid 2 years, and every time they text or call, you're still excited, or at least not like, oh, what's this want? That's a good one, man. That's a good one. You will find as you get older, it is not hard to find people to go to bed with you at night. It's hard to find people you want to wake up with next to in the morning. Sex is not hard to find. Intimacy is. And I think my generation and this younger generation, we're going to wake up one day, we're going to be 50 years old. We're still going to be like, let that coochie breathe in the club. And that shit ain't going to be cute. That shit's going to be pathetic. I think about that all the time too. I think about a couple of the great ones that I let go. And I'm sitting here going like, man, I never thought I wanted kids. Now I know I want kids. And I'm sitting here starting to do the math in my head like, shit, am I going to be throwing batting practice at 65 years old? I better start stretching. Like, geez. I miss it. I miss intimacy. I do. I miss coming back from the road and having somebody happy to see me. I miss that. And I think a lot of people and a lot of young women especially are running into a situation where they're going to realize too late that this world it's not about, accumulation. I say it before, it's not about income, it's about impact. It's not about how much sex you have or how many partners you have. It's about the feeling. How much time can you spend with people who make you feel great? They make you feel good about yourself. They make you feel attractive. They make you feel wanted, right? Like they make you feel loved. How much time can you spend around people that make you feel loved? What a blessing, what a treat that is if you can find that in your life and if you're smart enough to keep it. And then I think if we got back to that a little bit more, if we got back to kind of an attitude of gratitude with the people in our lives, the people that help us, the people that love us, and we appreciate the time and the effort and the energy that they give, then I think a lot of the other societal things that we struggle with would start to figure themselves out. I think we would understand culturally why we did things the way we did in America for so long. I think we would understand why these systems were put in place because, these systems are put in place for vulnerable families, for vulnerable middle-class families. These things are not the most efficient thing in the world for single people, right? Like it's like Manhattan's not made. Manhattan wasn't made for 30-year-old working people to jet around on empty subways. No, it was made for working people to commute People that lived outside of Manhattan to commute into Manhattan to make money and then commute back to bring it back to their families. This entire country was made for people to earn and create and then bring that value back to their family. But we're not having families anymore. And we wonder why we're all depressed and alone and unfulfilled. How much money can you make? How much blow can you do? How much liquor can you drink? How many strangers can you f***? And it's still, we wake up in the morning and it's just you, dude. It's just you. The only thing you have is a headache and $500 less in your pocket. There's more out there. I'm talking to 25-year-old me. Maybe you're listening, but I'm talking to 25-year-old me. You know? Seek the adventure, but seek somebody to share the adventure with. You know, the accumulation of women is not the adventure. You know, the consumption of different liquors, different drugs, different places, different, you know, and there's a certain level of let me see how much danger I can put myself into, and let me see if I can get away with it. Let me see if I can get out of it. There's definitely part of that. Until you get stabbed in Nashville and you're bleeding out, praying to God, who you know, we're not even sure you believed in, like, man, don't let me go like this. Nah, this would kill my mom. Don't, not like this. But then there's an arrogance that comes with surviving that. If I'm being honest with you, which I always will be, people, Gerard versus evil is, for me, is the evil within me. There's an evil within me. There's a 100%. There's the devil's not on my shoulder. It's deep inside my soul and in my skull. And I constantly have to be aware of him before he takes over. Because there's an arrogance that I survived that. There's an arrogance that's like, I may not be bulletproof, but I'm knife proof. There's an arrogance to it. And all you can do is hope that the enlightenment that comes from these lived experience, the wisdom, right? The old cliche, you can't be old and wise if you were never young and wild. You can only hope that the enlightenment that comes with surviving these situations that you've put yourself in outweighs both the arrogance that comes with it and outweighs the stress and the horrors that you put your loved ones through during your sowing your seeds decades. Because that's entitlement. Because that's narcissism. This is why I know exactly who the communist is, because I feel it inside of me. I see you. I see you because I am you. I want it all. I deserve it all. Why should I have to do anything? I'm special. My life changed for the better when I started thinking from a service and gratitude mentality. And I know this is cliche, but if you can provide service, if you can provide value, if you can go into a situation and instead of saying, what can I get out of this? What can I bring to this? If you can be grateful for even anything, if you can feel gratitude for even anything, then that will give you the right mindset. Because you don't deserve anything. You need to be grateful for what you have. Jossie, it's pouring out here. I'm so grateful you came in today. I'm grateful.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for you. You know, and that gratitude makes me want to be of service. Every time I ask you, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Right? And I'm not doing that. Like, it's weird because, you know, you're like, I don't want to owe you anything. No. It's not about owing me. I want to serve you to show the gratitude I have for what you've done for me. I want to add more value to your life. I don't want anything back for. Look, if I need something, I have no problem asking because I feel like I've provided value. So to me, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful relationship. That's people helping people. I don't need to feel like, oh man, I got to ask this person a favor, you know, but I don't know how to have this conversation. No. I don't have to feel that way anymore. And I used to feel that way a lot, but I don't have to feel that way anymore because I know if you're in my life, I have done everything I possibly can do to make myself available to provide value to you. How can I help? How can I be of assistance? And I get it. It can be awkward. And I know I sound like a preachy Christian right now, and I'm not. But I'm telling you. If you can hear what I'm saying at a young age, if you're one of the 14 people YouTube is going to let hear this thing, reorient your life. You're in the rat race, and I believe in ambition, and I believe in hustle, and I believe in accumulation, and I think it's way better to have money than not have money. I'm not saying like quit everything and become a pauper. I'm saying go into situations, shake somebody's hand, look them in the eye, and legitimately say, okay, what value can I provide to this person? Not like, oh, maybe this person can introduce me to this person, and maybe this person can do this for. No. Provide value, and that will happen anyway. Say, hey, my name's Gerard, blah, 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 blah. Hey, if I can help you in any way, let me know. This is what I do, blah, 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 blah. And mean it. And then be very grateful for everything that you have and everything that you do have. If somebody does something to you, you be grateful. Take $20 and send flowers, a bottle of wine, a note. Show the gratitude. Be genuinely grateful. Be genuinely of service. Be genuinely grateful. If you do those things, brothers and sisters, in a year, you tell me how your life is. In a year, if you just do those two things, you tell me how your life is. If you open your heart to whoever is showing you love and you surround yourself with those people more, you tell me how your life is in a year. There's no greater wealth, there's no greater value than the people you surround yourself. If they uplift you, if they make you feel good about yourself, because there's nothing that will drag you down faster than toxic situations and toxic people. There's nothing like coming home and having tears in your eyes like, oh, now I got to deal with this bullshit. Oh my God, home has got to be safety. Home has got to be peace. The rest of this world is a fight. This world's a dog fight. I got to come home. It's got to be peace. If you can find that person that's your peace, if you can find that someone that brings you peace, hold on, never let go. You will never be able to afford anything in your life that's more valuable than that. And with that, I'm Gerard versus Evil, Gerard Michaels. This has been Gerard versus Evil. I'm Gerard Michaels. That's the great Jossie Roy G. Viv, Jossie Diablo Conyo over there.
Hi, all the last names. But yeah, everybody stay safe. It's raining really bad, so be cool out there.
We have an international audience, Jossie. It's not raining everywhere, but maybe it is. I don't know, climate change, right?
If you're in South Florida.
If you're in South Florida, be safe. You know what to do, man. Subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Or don't. It'd be cool if you did, but if you don't, all right, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time. Peace.